Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is Game 1 of this matchup of some post-rotation Temporal Forces Standard training that happened on March 14th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description. League Challenge, Thursday, March 21st at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games. And check out Pokemon's event locator for premier events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, Gardevoir. On the right, Charizard. Looks like our Gardevoir player is going first here, and they're going to start things off with that Buddy Buddy Poffin, allowing them to search their deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to add to the bench. Our player is going to take a little time here to look through their deck and see what's in there, what's prize, etc., before finally deciding upon 2 Ralts, of course, to add to the bench. Next is an Earthen Vessel, discarding a Psychic Energy in order to search the deck for 2 more Psychic Energy to add to the hand. Very good move there, getting that Psychic Energy into the discard pile, as the Gardevoir EX likes that. We'll talk about that as that comes up. Radiant Greninja discarding another Psychic Energy with its Concealed Cards ability to draw 2 more cards. And things are passed over to our Charizard player. They start with the Charmander in the active, Charmander on the bench. And their strategy is going to be play Arven. Let's see if that can happen this first turn, going second. Looks like our players are having a conversation about these new decks here. This is some of the first times we're playing these new decks. Our training session. Whoa. I wonder what they're discussing here. During these training sessions, we definitely take our time, talk about our plays, talk about our strategies, and just have a good time. Extra good time in general, let's say. So don't mind us, as that Arven is played. Gonna attach a Fire Energy to the active Pokemon, and deciding the moves off of the Arven here. Arven, of course, lets you search your deck for a tool card and a item card. So the big combo is the tool card, Technical Machine, Evolution, and the item card, Buddy Buddy Poffin. There we go. The Technical Machine Evolution is in the deck and plucked out of there by Arven. Since there are 4 Buddy Buddy Poffins in deck, I'm sure there's one available for Arven to grab as well. Now our player is deciding what 2 Pokemon to choose off of the Buddy Buddy Poffin, and also taking a decent look through the deck and seeing what might be prized, what's available. Definitely will grab a Bidoof off of the Buddy Buddy Poffin, and then the decision is what to grab for that other Pokemon, either another Charizard or the second Bidoof. Sorry, excuse me, another Charmander or the second Bidoof. I think the player ultimately wants to go for the Charmander, as that's the main attacker versus a support Pokemon. The active Charmander could get knocked out here. But actually going to go for the Skwovet. Okay, Bidoof and Skwovet off of the Buddy Buddy Poffin. Just depends on what's in hand as well. Alright, gonna finalize the Skwovet and Bidoof with the Buddy Buddy Poffin. That Technical Machine Evolution gets attached to the active Charmander. The Manaphy hits the bench with its Wave Veil ability, preventing attack damage done to the bench Pokemon there. So that says no, no, no to Screamtail, as the active Charmander uses the evolution attack that's provided by the tool Technical Machine Evolution in order to evolve 2 Pokemon on the bench. Charmeleon evolves on the bench, as well as Bibarel. And things are passed over to our Gardevoir player here. See a rare candy in hand, that's a good sign. Charizard side of the board is set up pretty nicely, so our Gardevoir player starts off with the concealed cards, discarding energy and drawing 2 cards. Thanks Radiant Greninja. Kirlia evolves on the bench. It uses its refinement ability to discard a card and draw 2 more cards. And Ultra Ball is played next, discarding Professor Turo's scenario and another Psychic Energy in order to search the deck for that Gardevoir EX. With the rare candy in hand, that Gardevoir EX will be coming into play this turn. Gardevoir EX has the Psychic Embrace ability that allows it to accelerate basic Psychic Energy from the discard pile to Psychic Pokemon in play at the cost of 2 damage counters per Psychic Energy accelerated. Rare candy, Gardevoir EX, evolved on the bench here. Next is Iono. That supporter card has both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their decks, and then draw equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players getting 6 cards from the top of the deck here. As the opponent's considering playing that Buddy Buddy Poffin, and they do, so they're going to search their deck for up to 2 more Pokemon, basic Pokemon of course, with 70 HP or less. That Drifloon is found, as well as another Ralts. Drifloon has the Balloon Blast attack for 2 Psychic Energy, 30 times the amount of damage counters on this Pokemon. Another Ralts hits the board. Board's looking pretty healthy for our Gardevoir player here, as they attach their own Technical Machine Evolution to the active Radiant Greninja. Psychic Energy is attached to it as well. And thanks to the TM evolution, Radiant Greninja uses the evolution attack in order to evolve 2 Ralts on the bench into Refinement Kirlia. Board's looking even healthier for our Gardevoir player here, as play continues over on Charizard's side. The Rare Candy Charizard is already in hand in order to evolve the active. The Ultra Ball can find another Charizard to evolve the Charmeleon on the bench. So double Charizard can be put into play this turn. Now just have to decide what 2 cards can be discarded with the Ultra Ball, if it needs to be done this turn. I think you do, since the rest of the hand is Energy Iono. So Ultra Ball discards a Fire Energy and a Nest Ball. in order to search the deck for a Charizard EX. Those fire energy being brought to the top of the deck as Infernal Rain is incoming. Alright, Rare Candy, evolve the active Charmander into Charizard EX. Infernal Rain is the ability Charizard EX has, and it says whenever you evolve into this Pokemon, you can search your deck for up to 3 basic fire energy and accelerate them onto your board as you wish. So, second energy goes onto the active Pokemon, and 2 energy go onto the bench Charmeleon. Charmeleon evolves to Charizard on the bench. I don't think any energy need or want to be accelerated from the deck at this point. Maybe you could put one on a Bibarel, but there's just really no need to do that right now. So we're just gonna evolve that Charmeleon into its final form, giving it more HP. Energy can be attached for turn, but again, I don't think, since there's no ideal target, I don't think you do. So first gonna do a Nest Stash in order to shuffle the hand, put it at the bottom of the deck, and then draw 1 card. That, of course, pairs well with Bibarel's Industrious Incisors that says draw until you have 5 cards in hand. And I think our player, instead of playing the Iono, they're really looking for Boss's Orders this turn in order to bring up the Dark Weak Gardevoir EX. Oh, and there it is. Excuse me, Boss's Orders or Gust card. So the computer search Skwovet Nest Stash found the Prime Catcher. Prime Catcher is basically Guzma. You bring one of your opponent's Pokemon up from the bench into the active spot, then you do the same on your side of the field. So that Gardevoir EX is brought into the active spot. Charizard EX moves into the active spot. Bibarel uses its Industrious Incisors to draw 5 cards. The turn continues here. Another Charmander or Bibarel being put onto the bench would be ideal, I guess, but otherwise, Charizard's side of the board is set up nicely. There is that Radiant Charizard in hand, but Charizard EX will just take the KO on the opposing Dark Weak Gardevoir. EX for 2 prizes. Radiant Greninja moves into the active spot, and play resumes over on its side with a Nest Ball in order to search the deck for that Scream Tail and put it onto the bench. Scream Tail has the Roaring Scream attack for a Psychic and Colorless Energy. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So since the Manaphy is in play over on Charizard's side, only the active Pokemon can be targeted by Roaring Scream. And let's see what else our Gardevoir player can do during their turn. Starting things off with a Refinement on the Kirlia, discarding a useless TM Evolution to draw 2 cards. And Earthen Vessel is played, discarding a card in order to search the deck for 2 basic Psychic Energy to add to the hand. That can continue to fuel Kirlia's Refinement, as well as getting those Psychic Energy into the discard pile. Radiant Greninja uses its Concealed Cards ability to discard one of those energy and draw 2 cards. Another Kirlia on the bench uses another Refinement to discard an energy and draw 2 cards. This Gardevoir deck just draws cards. Very lovely thing to see. Now our player is going to do a inventory of the discard pile, primarily seeing how many Psychic Energy are in there to be accelerated with Gardevoir EX, Psychic Embrace, as well as what other resources have been spent. I do not see a way to find a Gardevoir EX in hand, so another refinement, discarding a card, drawing 2 more cards. Super Rod is found and played now in order to shuffle back into the deck 3 Pokemon. Gardevoir EX and Ralts going back into the deck from the discard pile. Next, Arven is played. We haven't even played a supporter yet. Arven will be played now. That supporter card lets you find an item and a tool card. Ultra Ball and Luxurious Cape found here. So the Ultra Ball can find the Gardevoir EX. So we've got, I mean, it depends on what's in hand, I guess. Is there only one card in hand? If so, that cape would have to be discarded. Nope, there's more than one in hand. Okay, so we've got a Gardevoir EX this turn as the Ultra Ball is played, discarding 2 cards in order to search the deck for a Pokemon card. That Gardevoir EX is found. Now, can Drifloon get there and take the one-shot on the opposing Charizard? Gardevoir EX evolves on the bench. Gallade evolves on the bench. It has the Buddy Catch ability. Yes, it's the Buddy Catch ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Boss's Orders, debating on being plucked out of the deck, but actually going to settle for Arven. Supporter card has been played already, so just setting up for next turn and thinning cards out of the deck. Definitely a skill in the Pokemon trading card game. Alright, the Luxurious Cape attached to the Drifloon. Greninja retreats into the Drifloon. Now that Luxurious Cape gives Drifloon plus 100 HP, bringing it to 170 HP total, at the cost of when the Drifloon is knocked out, it gives up 2 prizes, an additional prize. Okay, so now Gardevoir EX is using its Psychic Embrace ability in order to accelerate psychic energy from the discard pile to the 170 HP Drifloon. 12 damage counters will be put onto that Drifloon thanks to Gardevoir EX's Psychic Embrace conditions. Now we got 12 times 3 as the attack damage. Yeah. 360 damage that little balloon is doing. Balloon Blast for the knockout on the opposing Charizard EX. That is scary. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the bench Charizard EX will just move into the active spot here. The Drifloon has to be knocked out, if not it's going to do 360 damage next turn. And play resumes over on Charizard's side. Definitely have to knock out the active Drifloon. If not, it just comes back and does the same thing next turn. Charmander put onto the bench. Radiant Charizard put onto the bench. Now, was there energy in hand? If there's energy in hand, I think you do attach it to the Radiant Charizard, threatening your opponent with that. Wow. all 4 of Charizard's Gust cards are in hand. Had to show the opponent that one. But none of them want to be used currently. So Fire Energy attached to the bench Radiant Charizard to make it a threat for the next turn. And Charizard EX takes the KO on the opposing Drifloon for 2 prize cards, thanks to that luxurious cape. Radiant Greninja debating on being put into the active spot. As play resumes over on Gardevoir's side. Energy in hand, so we've got some concealed cards and refinements incoming. Debating on playing the Arven, but maybe you could draw what you'd find off of the Arven with Greninja and Kirlia. Energy put onto the active Radiant Greninja, so that way it's got the retreat for the turn. Counting up how many psychic energy are in that discard pile. As a refinement is used, discarding a earthen vessel to draw 2 cards. Looks like the opponent was asked how many cards are in hand, so potential Iono incoming. Counter Catcher being played. When you have more cards remaining than your opponent, Counter Catcher is live and it acts like a boss's orders. Bring up a Pokemon from the bench. That Radiant Charizard being targeted by the Counter Catcher. Three energy accelerated onto the bench Gallade, thanks to Psychic Embrace. It takes 6 damage counters, of course. Debating on playing an Artisan, but actually just going to go for an Arven to search the deck for a tool and an item. Super Rod is the item of choice, and the luxurious cape, Scary, is the tool of choice. Super Rod is played here in order to shuffle back into the deck from the discard pile that Drifloon. Artisan being played now to search the deck for a non-Roblox basic Pokemon to add to the bench. The Drifloon is the target there. So I think our player could have KO'd the Charizard here. That would have been potentially devastating for our Charizard player, as Radiant Greninja retreats into the Gallade. Gallade does do 160 damage with its Swirling Slice attack, moving energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon for knockout on the 160 HP Radiant Charizard. But boss's orders in hand for the Charizard player means the Gardevoir EX can be brought into the active spot, and since it's weak to darkness, the Dark-type Charizard EX takes the KO on it for the last 2 prize cards of the game. What do you think of this video and the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.